Hi, folks. Welcome to the Leeds View podcast, the second podcast of this week, due to the fact that Leeds have got an absolute ton of games over the course of the week, 3 games in 7 days. Chelsea is in the bag. It's in the history books. What a night for Leeds United. And Liverpool are up next. It's not going to get much easier. Delighted to be joined by Paul Brooker. No G-Mac tonight. G-Mac is busy, otherwise engaged tonight and tomorrow night as well. So we'll have him back on the pod early next week. But Paul was there with him. They were watching the game together. It was a really, really good game of football, Paul, from a Leeds perspective. All very positive around the place. What was it like in Elland Road last night, and how are you doing?
Last night was good. It was very loud, very busy, very. It was an atmosphere to behold. In all honesty, the rivalry is obviously there, but it was a fantastic night. Obviously, meeting Jerry for the first time, which was really nice, and being able to give him a cuddle. I did look him in the eyes as well, just in case you were wondering.
Just to make that a little more awkward, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But just overall, it was a really, really, really good game to watch. I mean, we were expecting a draw at best, but overall, this was way more than what we could have ever expected. It was dreamland. Yeah, so the first goal goes in, you're in dreamland. And then they kind of wrestle control back a little bit. And then you just think, we just need to get to half-time at 1-0. The second goal goes in, and it's brilliant. We're all in absolute dreamland. I had to go for a wee. Didn't know what to do with myself. The second half starts. They come back into it, and you think, oh, we've seen this story before. And then it's just bedlam when the third goal goes in. And Farke got everything right, got the formation right, got the substitutions right at the right time. Just everything about last night was near perfection as far as I'm concerned. It was a phenomenal night. My throat is killing me. I'm shattered. I look like I've been dragged through a bush. It was just an incredible night overall. And yeah, I'm too old for this, Joe, in all honesty. But I love it.
It was absolutely. It was nice to see Chelsea Fan TV, of all people, describe the Elland atmosphere as the best in England. He's been there 3 times. And he's been impressed 3 times. It's nice to, I know it's a Chelsea fan, but it's still nice to hear from other people who come to the ground and talk about that atmosphere as well. So yeah. Saw Barnsley fan having a dig at it today, but how would he know? He hasn't been here in a while, you know. So don't worry about them so much. But yeah, it looked like an incredible atmosphere in the place. It was jumping. I've done a Jerry Mack on this. I have consumed all of the different language commentary. I've just retweeted the Japanese commentary team's reaction to Tanaka's goal, or Tanaka Ao's goal, which was brilliant to see it. So happy for Tanaka to get a goal. What a banger as well. Yeah. First 2 goals, 2 beautiful goals. Dennis Farke talked about today, Paul. He scored in different ways. It's a rocket of a header from Yakubiala. Brilliant run. And I saw a clip from behind the goal. The height that he got up and the power that he generated as he turns and heads it. He's almost pointing as he heads it of where the ball is going to end up in it. Sanchez can't do anything about it. And then Tanaka had a few sighters, a few ones that he shanked wide. Farke said it was annoying him at that point. And then he finds an absolute rocket into the far right-hand corner. So just wonderful. And then we get a breakaway goal as well. The pressing all night was really good when we did do it. Pressing with that 2 and the 3 was really, really good. I was a little bit apprehensive when I saw him taking Tanaka off in the 65th minute or 66th minute and bringing on Ilya Groove. I thought, that's a defensive change. Now we're sitting. Please don't sit. Please don't sit. But as it panned out, you could see why he did that. That was to negate Cole Palmer. And it was ultimately a very sensible choice. But proactive again last night when he needed to be, and reactive at times when he had to be last night. His press conference today was interesting, Paul. I still want to talk about the Chelsea game a little bit before we get to Liverpool, but there was just a couple of bits, we talked about them already, that we picked up that are positive signs to me, because the concern from everybody is this was great. Second half against Man City, full 90 against Chelsea. We've been brilliant in this system. But the fear is that he will revert to type and go back to 4-3-3, and we're just kicking the can down the road here. But there was something he said today that made me think maybe not. He was asked about, did he get extra confidence from the performances against City and now Chelsea that make him believe Leeds can stay in this league? And he said the usual stuff, 100% backs his players, always taught it, we'll go through a bad run of form, yada, yada, yada. But then he said, sometimes you have to change when it's not working. It's a positive sign if you can change. And I just had rocky moments in my head of, I can change and you can change. We can all change. And I hope that was a signal of intent. He also said that he doesn't look at raw stats when he's talking about games. which he's been touting for weeks, but we'll bypass that one and focus on the positive one.
Yeah.
But you saw it last night, a aggressive front press that was working and pinning them back. We've talked about it all year. Leeds the best on the front foot, Leeds the best pressing from the front. Midfield looked really good. The back three, Bial looked super comfortable. Pascal Struijk went for a little wander to start the second half a couple of times and left a few gaps. Seemed to sort it out though. Then I wasn't sure what was going on there. Himself and Goodmunson were about wandering on, and I don't like seeing Pascal Struijk pop up in the opposition half when they have the ball. But they sorted it, which was again a good sign. And you look at the midfield then, and Anton Stach in that midfield looks cool and calm and takes this thing out. Ethan Ampadu, phenomenal performance from him. But everyone across the board, 2 fullbacks. Gabby Goodmunson got it. Some people said last night, worry about him defensively. You look at the numbers this morning, the top defender by stats for Leeds. Most duels, most tackles, most recoveries done by any player. But you're asking them to get through a huge amount of work in terms of going up and down the pitch. And both of them looked absolutely shattered by the time they went up. But we've got replacements to come in there. A rarely seen Sebastian Bornau pops up, bombing down the wing at 6'5". And James Justin, a really cool, calming influence as well, comes onto the pitch to shut down Neto and also Garnacho for a little bit and take the sting out of their play. But from a player performance-wise, Paul, what stood out to you on the ground last night? We will get through the Finalysis ratings as well, but what stood out to you last night?
The midfield stood out to me last night in terms of being able to wrest the control. Ampadu was just on a mission last night. Obviously, there's that little bit of the Chelsea connection and having gone through also into kind of like the Chelsea loan system. So he ended up not really playing for Chelsea. So he had a bit of a point to prove. And he was on Enzo Fernandez the entire night, talking to him, chirping at him, the tackles that were flying in and everything. Listen, I'll give Fernandez credit. The one where he got upended towards the end of the game, he didn't complain. But he just got up and got on with it. It was a really, really good battle between them two. So for me, Ampadu was man of the match last night, just in terms of his overall performance. But just
should be pointed out, Enzo Fernandez cost more than the entire Leeds team.
Yes, that is very true as well. Well pointed out. Bial for me was phenomenal. Just you can see why the 5-3-2 works, and it's everything that we've discussed. Is that Bial was there to sweep up. So what was happening was the wing backs would come back, and then one of either the left hand side or the right hand side centre back or defender, whatever you want to call them, would go and join them, and Bial would be there just to sweep up if anything came in or came around and cut it out, and it worked perfectly for the entire game. I really, really liked what Nemecha and Calvert-Lewin were doing. I mean, literally everything just sticks to him. Everything sticks to him. And Nemecha, a couple of things, he lost the ball a couple of times, but when he gets it right, he'll just pull a move out of nowhere, and then he'll just speed off. I guess there wasn't one particular thing that I was really enamored with. What I would say is that I was enamored with the team, the overall team performance, and that everybody stuck to a plan. And then, like you mentioned it yourself, the substitutions made sense. Tanaka came off, and people were complaining about Tanaka coming off. But for me, it made sense to bring Gruev on at that point because the midfield for Chelsea had just started to wrestle a little more control out of the game. So they needed Gruev in to come and just settle that down a little bit. And the Okafor thing, obviously, with Nemecha was shattered by that point. But you're putting in a person who has a silky first touch when he's on it, can go past somebody as well, run it into the channels, run the channels. And there was like 2 or 3 balls or 4 occasions where Okafor had a ball pinged over to him at speed and just one touch, done, down, dead, killed it dead, and then just went off and ran with it. And it was a different thing. Listen, he could really flourish in that area. But overall, it's the entire team performance. The entire team performance is something to think, to put confidence into. And we talk about it, and we've criticised Farke a lot, and I think it's right to praise him on this occasion. He stuck with 100%. It, he went with it, and it's worked fantastically well for him.
I stick with this, and some people might disagree with me. I don't think we've ever been unfair to Daniel Farke. No. I think the early part of the season we praised what he was doing. We've been critical when it needs to be critical. We haven't gone over the top on sacking the guy. We have made our points on it over the last couple of weeks of saying a change is probably needed. But I think we all consistently said, change the system, change the approach, change the style, or change the manager. One of those has to happen. And Farke in the last game and a half has changed the formation, changed the approach, and changed the style. And we're getting results from it. He seems to have one of these every single season at Leeds. The first season was swap Pirro and Reuter. Fans are at him week after week. The press are asking him week after week, swap them. Then eventually he does, and we reap the rewards. Then last year it was drop Meslier. Then eventually he does, and Carl Darlow comes in, calming influence. We go on a fantastic run. This year it's been just change the system to play to the strengths. And even though it's direct, I wouldn't describe it as hoofball or negative ball. It was actually quite exciting last night at times to see the amount of bodies Leeds were committing forward. When Gudmundsson did burst down the left-hand side, there were players flooding into the box for Leeds, which we just haven't seen all season. Agreed. And even when Jayden Bogle almost pulls a championship run out of his pocket last night in the second half when he went to full end of the park, gets into the penalty area before the Chelsea players realise, shit, we better stop this guy, and then they all swarm around them. But two of them, looked knackered last night. There will be issues with this coming into the Liverpool game because of the amount of work they got through. But there are rotational options there. You can bring a James Justin in now for one of them, and they've managed his minutes. Taking Tanaka off saves him a little bit of time, and maybe you can start him then against Liverpool. Gruev can come in, was very good in the second half against Manchester City. So there's things that you can do in this system as well with those players. And again, it suits a lot of players coming in. Joe Pirou looked pretty comfortable again last night coming in up front in that too, even though it was him and Okafor at that point. But there's more options to it. And again, if he needs to go 5-4-1, he can go 5-4-1. If he needs to go 3-4-3, he can go 3-4-3. There's scope for this. Great to see him do it. Deserves the credit for doing it. Whether he was forced into it, people are saying, well, Dan James was injured, he was forced into it. He could have played Brendan Aronson on the right like he has all season. He didn't do that. So whether he was forced or not, he did it. Great. Move forward with this and let's see where we go. It's not the skeleton key. It's not going to unlock every single team. It's not going to be the perfect system in every single game this season. There's going to be really bad days at the office this season. That's just the reality of the situation. But you give yourself a chance with this, I believe. And it's a step in the right direction for me, or one of the steps in the right direction moving forward for us. I do want to get the ratings, and I've looked at the league table as well, Paul.
Yep.
That does makes better view. And these are this is the league table. I did not think I'd be putting a green tick beside Chelsea in this run of games, but it's a really positive start. Out of the bottom three now, back to that point per game average. The 3 goals as well helps the goal difference in these 4 categories as well. 16 goals in 4 games. West Ham drop in. They were playing, as you're watching this, West Ham will likely be kicking off in their match. Fingers crossed. I never wanted to see that lot win, but if they do get a win tonight, it keeps us at the bottom 3. But we're not out of touch. And if you look up the table as well, we're only a couple of points off of 15th with Fulham as well. And they've got some tricky games coming up. And Sunderland are having a bit of a wobble as well. They did get a draw against Liverpool and won the last game, but they've, last 5's not been perfect for them. And they're about to have a ton of players head off to the African Cup of Nations. And I think we're only 9 points behind them. And we've got to play them. So, a lot of things can happen in the next couple of weeks, but a far more positive looking league table, Paul.
Yeah, no, it looks absolutely way better than what it did previously. The big thing is now West Ham could win 1-0, but that still keeps us out of the bottom 3, which is the main thing. We want to make sure that we maintain this now. And I always say this, yes, we need to look at what's going on below us, but we now need to be looking at targeting Forest and going up against and going for that one as well. It feels a lot better that we're not it's not a red circle number anymore next to us. It's a black circle number, which just makes it feel a lot better. But like you say, the performances Man City second half and the performance against Chelsea last night, it puts confidence in. It's like that. I was talking to somebody on X about this. It's like that psychotic ex-girlfriend that you don't want to go back to anymore, but she's oh so good. And she keeps tempting you back in. And here we are again. She can love me for as long as she wants, as long as that keeps happening. And we keep winning games, because us as men, we're fickle creatures. And women as well. I'm not judge. So it is a very, very pleasing thing to see. And you mentioned it in terms of the hoofball as well and playing it long. What was really good to see was that we did mix it up last night as well. Predominantly, the ball did go long. And what we were doing was, if there wasn't an obvious quick through ball or a quick ball to progress us, which is what I noticed last night, is we were trying to progress the ball a lot more. What we would do is the ball would get recycled back to Perry, then it would go long. That kind of messed with Chelsea a little bit as well, because they didn't know whether to stay or to come, or what kind of way to go around it, which just worked really well. So it was pleasing to see that side of it. And like, whilst many people might not like it, it is, like you said, it was exciting. I mean, I was in the ground. Everybody was excited last night, especially the kid that was going absolutely batshit crazy in the West Stand, which was just hilarious. But it was just so good to see.
You met Sweet Shop Man last night as well, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Right. Just to explain, Barry is 93 years old. He has all of his cognitive faculties about him. He makes his way to every single home game with his walking stick. Jerry has kind of adopted him as, like, I don't know, as like a surrogate dad or surrogate granddad, who knows. And he comes and sits with us, or sits with Jerry in particular, talks to you about the game. He's absolutely switched on, and then starts handing out Murray Mints to everybody. Just take a couple before you
good choice.
No, just take a couple before you go into the game. Take some for your. You look like a proper granddad. Take some and take some for your pocket. Take them for your pocket. That'd be great. Like, thanks very much. But no, he was lovely, and obviously we helped him get to his seat and everything, because he's got to walk up like 4 flights of stairs to get to the seat as well. He's incredible. I only hope that if I ever make it to that age, that I have all my faculties about me and I'm as healthy as what this chap is. He was just phenomenal. What a guy. What an absolute guy.
Yeah, well done, Barry. Fair play. That's great. Murray Mint's great show. I used to love Murray Mint's before I started getting fillings. Now I'm at a point where I'll be just picking them up with tea all night, so maybe not so much. But yeah, what a great choice, Barry. The Finalysis ratings came in. Pascal Stroke got a pretty tough one. That's the wrong one. Do you know what I've done there?
What have you done?
I've not updated that one. I actually downloaded it, but didn't put it into the slide. There we go. Let's pop that in there. I was going to say Pascal Strokes had an absolute mare by the fans' vote, but that's not the case, because he was really good last night. Bar is wandering. No more wandering, Pascal. Stop doing that, and I'll love you forever.
It was he did wander with the ball at one point, but he beat like 3 players, which was really funny to watch, to see that actually happen.
Oh, yeah. He did. Amber did at one point as well. He just took the ball and started running and just start going past players. And he dropped the shoulder and left Fernandez on his arse at one point.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't want to see him wandering without the football. Stay in your position, hold that back line. But yeah, ratings last night were good. Lucas Perry 73, Joe Rodon with a 79, and I just thought Joe Rodon quietly went about his business. Somebody said he was probably the lesser of the defenders last night, from a very high bar of what Joe Rodon, 100 consecutive league and playoff appearances for Leeds United. Now, the only defender to do that in the 21st century. He's only 13 off Norman Hunter's record as well. But yeah, I thought he quietly went about his business, and the 79 out of 100 is a very good score as well. Jakobio with a goal as well, 85. Pascal Stroke, 81. Jaden Bogle, 79. Gabby Goodmunson, 83. The 3-man midfield, it was called out by Finalysis on their app today on Instagram as well. Stack, 82. Ampadu, 88. Tanaka, 85. Up front, Calvert-Lewin, 86. Lucas Mecha, 84. Subs weren't bad either. Piru, 66. Okafor, 73. Borneo, 63. Okafor, 73, sorry. Borneo, 63. James Justin, 65. Ilya Groove, 71. Daniel Farke goes from a 36 in the game 2 weeks ago to an 88 in the ratings here as well. So we disagree with anything there. I thought Bogle was probably a bit better than that. I thought Rodon was probably a bit better than that as well. But thoughts?
You can't anything but agree with that. What I would say is, with the Rodon thing, it's very much similar to Gruev. When Gruev comes on, the reason that you don't notice him very much is because he just gets on and does the job that he's supposed to do. Rodon is absolutely Mr. Dependable for me. He's in a very, very neck and necking for me with Goodmanson in terms of Player of the Year. Overall, he's been so good. When you play that many games in a row without injury, without any issues or problems or anything like that, it suddenly starts to become sort of second nature to you a little bit, and you almost take it for granted. You take it for granted what he actually brings. But you can't. I mean, Biol, what a header, was there sweeping everything up. I mean, he had Delap in his back pocket a couple of times, which is fantastic. The physicality of Biol with Delap was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, lovely. Enjoyed that immensely. But yeah, Ampadu for me was the standout man of the match. I just thought he was absolutely everywhere last night, which was so good to see. And just his confidence levels is good for him as well. So pleased.
Yeah, he needed a perform. Look, he has them in his locker all day long. Ampadu has, but we just haven't seen it in the last couple of weeks. He's just been a bit off it. But maybe again, having those extra couple of players points out exactly what he's capable and what he brings to the table. He was brilliant last night. Right, let's talk about. We're going to talk about Elland Road briefly as well towards the back end of this, because there was some pictures taken by Isaac Johnson and Paul was there last night showing where the new West stand, how far back it's going to be, and how big it actually is, and actually the work that has started on that. For those who don't believe it will actually happen, work has begun on it, even though they're still waiting on the final plan and permission on it. And before we get to that, we got the small matter of Liverpool at the weekend. Daniel Farke's press conference was today as well, Paul. Everything's pretty much fine. Was asked about Lucas Perry criticism on his distribution, said that he's been very good for Leeds. You got to give him time to adapt to England and the intensity and how quickly you get pressed. But did point out that they are working on the weaknesses. He is aware of them himself. He knows about them and they're working on it, which is great to hear. But
he also said team news.
Sorry?
He also said he's not a number 10.
He's not a 10, so no big. And I've been with there. As long as the ball wasn't going to the back of the net, I think the criticism to goal last night was harsh. Gabby Goodmanson switches off. Gabby Goodmanson needs to deal with that. Best of luck saving a shot from Neto at point blank range as well that quickly. So yeah, not an issue for me yesterday. But the team news going into the game, a lot of players in ice baths, Daniel Farke said. There's a lot of load. They got through a huge amount of work to a man last night. That is likely going to have an impact for the Liverpool game. Yes, they were playing also last night as well. But Leeds had a huge amount of work. The obvious two, Lucas Mecha and DCL, both have little niggles. We saw Mecha get on the first half holding his hamstring. You told me before we came on, DCL was holding his calf at one point in the first half. They got through the game and they worked hard. Mecha was out on his feet by the time he came off, but he said hamstring and calf will need to be late checks, but that's expected with a quick turnaround. Outside of that, maybe out Tanaka as well. They were all in ice baths when he was coming into the press conference. Couple of late changes, but he said the championship players that were here last year are more used to this load with the 3 games in 7 days. So they're actually all okay. But it's the newer players that have come in have struggled with this a little bit. But I think the fact that he also pointed out that, Gruev started last week, James Justin started against Manchester City, that's given them a chance to rotate. But he did say he will have to rotate more during this period of time than he normally would, which would make you think there's probably going to be a couple of changes to that starting 11. You'd like one of those 2 strikers at least to be there. And if it's Joe Pirro or Willie Nanto or Noah Okafor off of them, no problem.
I would, if there's going to be, I don't see him. I mean, he can't change the formation. I can't. He definitely can't. That back 3 won't change. For me, I can't see. The only potential I could see happening is maybe Bogle not starting. That's the only one, because Goodmanson's power of recovery seems to always be very, very good. He always seems to be ready and raring to go for the next game. So James Justin could potentially come in. Maybe that's just me speculating. Up top, if you're to ask me out of the 2, I would probably say you're probably more likely for Nemecha not to start at the weekend. So I think what you'll probably see, I think in terms of pecking order wise, it'll be Okafor that starts. So I can see it being Calvert-Lewin and Okafor, which again, that's not. Do you know what I mean? It's not bad, is it? It's absolutely fine. Stack maybe gets replaced with a Gruev, maybe potentially to because he was doing the hamstring stretches towards the end of the game as well. So again, we'll just have to wait and see. He's just coming back from concussion protocol, having passed the test and everything. So it's just whether or not he's going to be fully fit and able to cope. But I can maybe see 2 changes. I don't think there'll be many. Ampadu is just, I mean, he's Superman Ampadu, isn't he, in terms of his powers of recovery? So he'll be absolutely fine. I don't see massive changes. Yeah.
And there was a huge amount of else obvious questions about Farke having confidence, him getting confidence, said he was never in doubt. The positive, something had to change. Positive if he'd make changes. Well done, Daniel. Thanks very much.
We don't always look at the raw data. That's not what we always look at. If you look at the raw data, you miss out on other things.
Yeah, his exact word where you like to dominate games. Has this last game and a half shown you that there's a different way for this Leeds United side to play with 28% possession and you still win the game? Because as Baron Cross put it, you dominated the key stats, numbers on the board, goals. And I did laugh. I did chuckle.
Yeah.
Daniel Farkas said, if you just look at raw stats, it doesn't always tell you the full story. Now, considering for the last 6 weeks, he has been spouting off the possession stats that Leeds have had when the bulk of that possession has been in Leeds' own half. We haven't done that with the possession. I got a chuckle at that. He used Man City as an example, saying that Man City don't concede a lot of goals from corners, but when you actually look at the data, they don't concede corners, so that's why they don't concede. So that's more case than anything else. So he said you have to look a little bit deeper than that. But he does want to have possession because if you've got the ball, you're not conceding. But I think Leeds might be a better side, maybe without the ball and breaking quickly. But he did point to the fact that Leeds started with a high press and he wants that high press. I like that. I was very excited to hear that because that first 15 minutes by Leeds, it's 78% possession. They were all over Chelsea. They just... It was just a great start to the game. It was really encouraging stuff. And even when they had to sit back and soak up a bit of pressure, which you would expect will happen against Liverpool as well. These are top-class sides. They're going to have a lot of the ball. We didn't look overly weak. There was just, that bit of a moment with Gabby at the back post for the goal they scored. And then we managed to, again, as you say, manage that situation and calm things down again. And I think actually the absolute rocket from Mecha that was ruled out for offside probably actually calmed Leeds a little bit to think, no, we're okay. We can get another chance here. And then when we scored, it killed off Chelsea completely. But there was a bit of wetting a storm there, and they did manage to do that. So it'll be similar again against Liverpool.
Yeah. The other thing as well, it's one of the things that Farker has complained about. It's one of the things that we've all complained about is the efficiency in front of goal and being efficient with what you actually have. Now, our XG was higher than what Chelsea's was, yet we only had 30% possession, give or take. And our XG was as near as makes the difference 3.
2.82.
Yeah, and we scored 3 goals. So that
the highest of any team against Chelsea this season.
Exactly. So that makes the efficiency level fantastically good. That's exactly what you want to see. Exactly what you want to see is that when you playing the 3-5-2, sometimes you're not going to have a lot of the ball. What you do is you're trying to you're saying to the other team, come and break us down. What we did do the other night, which was good, last night, which was very, very good, is that we didn't sit deep. We sat kind of mid-pitch and said, just try and play through us. And because there was so much going on in the middle of the pitch, they were just doing left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And what we were gradually doing is we gradually just sort of move up a little bit and start to squeeze them and squeeze them and squeeze them and force them to make a mistake. And boom, straight away, we're off on the attack. And that for me, that's what works for us. It's fantastic. And that's what he has to maintain.
Yep. It won't be easy. It won't be straightforward. It's not a guarantee, even with the new change of formation, that we'll get a result at the weekend. But maybe he picks up a point. It'd be interesting to see if that Guardian article holds any water now, because he did get a pat on the back from Prague last night. But if he doesn't win the game, according to the Guardian article, he's gone because he has to win both games. But I think he gets a point.
Conspiracy theorists out there are all saying that Prague looked absolutely pissed off at halftime because we were 2-0 up. And I'm like, just relax. Absolutely relax yourself.
Prague was very happy in the tunnel after the game and even gave Daniel Farke a big pat on the back when he went past him. So not the case. It was a screenshot of Sky where he didn't look impressed at that point. But, some of us have got resting bitch faces. I know I have.
Oh, I have massively. But just to say as well, what was really pleasing to see last night was the respect that was shown to Howard Wilkinson with the number of people that stayed in the stands at halftime for him to come out. It was he absolutely deserved that. What a coat he was wearing, by the way.
Lovely coat. He always dressed well, though.
Absolutely incredible. And him saying that he said it's a bit embarrassing and he got a laugh out of everybody. And just that comment of, I never worked a day in my life here, was a really, really nice thing to hear. And just, it's deserved, absolutely deserved, because he changed football for everybody.
He's part of the reason the transfer window exists. He was advocating for transfer windows before transfer window existed. He's the reason Thorpe Arch existed and the investment in youth football in England. And he's the reason we have the Shield badge, because he saw a lovely bottle of wine in Italy, I believe, at some point and decided to draw a badge, and that became Leeds crest. So he's got a legacy at Leeds, and he was ahead of his way. Luckily, we had Don Revie in the 70s and 60s who was ahead of his time. We had Howard Wilkinson, who was also ahead of his time as well with the things that he was trying to put into the game. Got a lot of resistance during that time. Wasn't treated particularly well. But towards him, but he's still there, and get that statue built. The Wilco 92
it
campaign is
just
available, by the way.
needs to
Go
be
check
done.
them out on their website. And try, if you want to support that, you can. It needs to happen soon. I would love to see it in his lifetime.
Absolutely.
Stop honoring people after they're not here. Let's honor them while
Yes.
they are still here, you know.
Yeah.
But he looks great, man of his age, and again,
Oh.
very sharp as well. The interview he did with Square Ball was fantastic as well. So yeah, very interesting. Man, and yeah, lucky enough in my lifetime to have actually seen him manage Leeds and support him manage
To the
Leeds,
title.
and see Leeds picking a trophy up as well, the title. So
Yeah.
the last English manager to ever win top flight still is Howard Wilkinson. So moving on real quick before we wrap up, the West Stand, the West Stand redevelopment. There's two pictures on the screen there. You can see these from Isaac Johnson. But Paul, you wanted to have a little chat about these to show us how far back the new West Stand is going to go. It looks like it's going to go all the way back to the wall where Fullerton Park is.
Yeah, pretty much. So the picture on the right hand side is just you can see what it says at West Stand extent. So that's basically saying to me, this is how far back the West Stand is going to come. And when you think about it, that's the new, obviously that's the away fan tunnel. So all the coaches that come in, they all walk down there and then they go into the little park bit that they've got down at the bottom. But it looks as though it's going to come pretty much, I would say, halfway into that tunnel overall, which means that stand is going to be ginormous. So if you think that's just where the stand comes to, and then think about what's going to come off the back of it as well, I don't think people probably fully realise how big this is going to be. Not only for the West Stand when the West Stand's done, but for the Cop End as well, for when the North Stand's done, and the difference that's going to make. So, yeah, I mean, we know that the cables are starting to be laid and stuff and things like that already. We know that that's on the way. A lot of people are saying that it's never, ever going to happen. The groundworks and the preparation has already begun in terms of what they're going to be doing. So it is going to happen. It's just we need League Council to pull their finger out the backside and just go, yes, it's great, let's do it.
Yeah, January now, before we get that final word on that one, is just it's the managing the extra footfall and traffic.
Yeah,
is the issue at the moment where they're going to meet again. But Leeds are confident that they've got everything in place for that. And the Leeds City Council apparently have all said that they're pretty confident this will go through. They've got back in. So
the two options for that is you create a proper walkway to the ground. From maybe closer to Lower Wortley, where you can just walk straight down, or from Beeston, where you can just walk straight across. The other thing is the tram system that they were talking about, but the issue that you've got with that is that's going to take years to build. Yeah. The quickest and easiest, do a station at the opposite end of Fullerton Park where the train line comes across. You could literally just drop a station into there and you could have people just come and walk down. It's not hard to do if they just put their minds to it.
Yeah, train redevelopment in Leeds is not a strong point right now as things are going there. There's work stopped on the train station as well, so it's not been perfect. So anyway, yeah, work to be done, but it will get there. We're confident we'll get there. They'll figure it out. Folks, that'll be it for us tonight. Just a bonus one tonight. Thanks for Paul for joining me. Jerry Mack back next week as well. And yeah, good week for Leeds so far. Let's hope we can get something on Saturday. We'll have to watch along over on bigup.com on Saturday, as well as the reaction after the game on YouTube. Yesterday's reaction is still available on the channel. I've cut the comment section out of that, so we do the comments live and then I clip it afterwards for anyone who wants to just get the review. And Paul's got some content. You got some stuff out around the game as well, Paul?
Yeah, I have. I've got my review of the game is up. I was going to do it as soon as I got home last night, but my brain was too wired to try and do anything. So I did it like early doors this morning, but I set it to go live at about midday. So that's up. Go and see that. I've also got a video up from the sort of new series that I'm doing, which is called Real Talk. And this one is on the dark arts of football, specifically around the Man City game, not so much targeting City as a team, but just what is deemed as being acceptable nowadays for the dark art side of things. So yeah, go and check that out as well. It's on podcasts as well, so have a look on Spotify, have a look on your Apple Podcasts. You'll see it on there as well. And there will be a preview of the Liverpool game tomorrow. I've never done as many videos as this in a week, Joe. It's ridiculous. Right? There will be a preview of the Liverpool game going up tomorrow evening as well, I would have thought. It'll either be tomorrow evening or sort of mid-afternoonish, but I'll probably say tomorrow evening just to give me time to prep for it and everything.
Yeah, we may have a stats pack out live tomorrow night as well. Touch and go right now just to see again. Have to get spend some time with the wife at some point.
Yes.
So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'll let you know tomorrow morning. We have news tomorrow morning, and today's news is floating around as well. You can check that out if you'd like to support the channel. Outside that, enjoy the rest of your evening and your days whenever you're watching this, and I'll talk to you soon. See you later. Bye.